Y'all, welcome back to Ben on a Bayou. I just gave you a little rundown on pretty much how I got to, just a quick rundown on how I got to where I am today. So I'm gonna start on breaking down each story in each little episode, and in between these stories, we're gonna have other people that wants to come and share their own stories. But I'm starting mine off because maybe you can relate, um, and know that the struggle is real. And I have a lot of people that love me, watch me, follow me, and don't judge me. Right? They don't judge. And I'm here for it. I'm here to bring all that. And this is the craziest thing because the story I'm about to tell you, a lot of you didn't know about me. And I never brought it out on the internet because I wanted to be the one to tell it. I wanted to be the one to let y'all know. Because the internet can be wild and they want to make up stuff. Now, after they make up stories about whatever, I'm cool with it. But as long as you heard it from me, myself and I first. But it's not. I didn't talk about it on any lives or anything like that. But I'm ready to share it here. So in the last one, I told you that I moved to the city because I wanted to be better and I wanted to be a nurse. I didn't want to be like my family, right? Again, in my brain, it just stuck with me since I was a child. This is where life started teaching me a whole lot of lessons. Each story gets a little bit deeper. Some of them may wow you, some of them may not. Some of them, I mean, it really may shock you, and some of them just be like, yeah, well, not with her, don't. Even if it does or it don't, somebody might can relate to me and may want to share their own story. So here we go. As I wanted to leave Pierpont, Louisiana, I took off and went to the city on my own. I enrolled myself in college. I enrolled myself in college. I had me a nice little place, a little, and after a little bit, I couldn't keep up with trying to pay for school. I couldn't keep up with my bills. I had to do something else. And I had a friend who told me how to make some money. So, um, I looked into being a whole stripper. I was a pole dancer in the city. I was a pole dancer in the city. When I couldn't make it anymore on just a regular job, my thought and my brain was you got to be better no matter what you have to do to make it. You got to make it. Unfortunately, that's how my drug problem became. And that's going to be another story for another day. But I want to finish talking about this one because, you know, a lot of girls, a lot of women get knocked down because of that specific thing, right? Um, I got hated on by a lot of people when they found out that's what I was doing to make money. Granted, I learned real fast to stay on stage doing just dancing, right? But it took me a lot to do that. I couldn't bring myself to I just it ate me up. I couldn't bring myself to take my clothes off. But I still knew I had to do something. And that's where some of the drug problem became. Um Again, that's a story for another time. And right now it's all about truth. And that's why I'm telling you the truth. So I would work at night. I had to be on something to be able to do that. I witnessed behind the curtain scenes. Mm-mm. There was no way I could do that. Now, are all the girls the same? Absolutely not. Again, we get knocked for doing stuff like that. But at that moment, that's what I had to do. I didn't have mama and daddy's money. I didn't have nobody backing me up. I had to find my way somehow. But I was enrolled at Delgado and I would work at night, make my money. And of course, I found something to help me be a little bit relaxed on stage. And then I would get home like 3, 4 in the morning, and then I'd have to get right back up to go to school. And that started another drug problem because I needed something to stay up while I was in class. And I remember riding to school with a whole 8 ball in my glove box. And I was so paranoid. Like, please don't let me get caught. I'm just trying to do my best. I'm just trying to do my best with what I got. Um, Now my support system that I did have, which was my family on the West Bank, looked out for me, no doubt, but in a different way. And they didn't know. They didn't know everything that was going on. I just had to look out for me to make it. And again, not all these ladies who do this are bad. Not all these ladies who do this are drug heads. Because when you think of a stripper, that's what you first think about. I was one of them, really just trying to make it up in the world and couldn't afford it on a regular job of going to school. I never got to finish college because my drug problem became heavier. The money I was making dancing was insane, was insane. So I got caught up in that life. I got caught up in that city life big time. And I enjoyed it a little bit too much. And because I enjoyed it a little bit too much, I let school go. Um, and it took completely over my life. It took completely over my life. And that's, again, that's going to be part of my drug story. But yeah, when I moved to the city, I first was trying to do everything right. But because I couldn't, I did what I needed to. And I felt so much shame that I had to take something and do something to make sure that I could perform correctly. And the craziest thing is I am not lying when I say this. I danced for a long time. I danced for a long time. And I was only with one person. I was so ashamed that I couldn't see myself being with a man or having a boyfriend or anything like that because I've already felt dirty. I felt dirty knowing that I was struggling and doing something like that to make my way. But I still kept in the back of my mind that this is how you're going to get somewhere. This is how you're going to get somewhere. I had to make money somehow. Um, so yeah, that part may shock you a little bit and it may not, but I was definitely, definitely. And that's where the city life starts. That's where the city life began. The drug life, the high life. We would be fucked up, thinking it was cool, thinking I got this, and I didn't. And it took it all from me. So, needless to say, I never got to finish my nurse's degree. I never got to finish my nursing degree, but I started and I tried, and then life took over. So, there's one part of my life that I'm sharing with you because the struggle was real, the want of the better life was real. It's almost like I can reach out and grab it, but yet it was still so far away. And again, I had so much hate. As a matter of fact, my ex-boyfriend at the time, before I started dancing, he did tattoos. And I know he used to hate a stripper. He would call them dirty names. And I got a tattoo on my thigh. And he did it. He was the one doing it. And I knew I shouldn't have said nothing. Now we wasn't together at the time, but we were still friends. And I was laying there and he was tattooing my thigh. And I was like, I still felt like maybe should I say something, should I not? And when it was at the end of my tattoo, I decided to be like open. Again, we were still friends. And when he found out that I was dancing, he said, I don't ever want to see you again. And if I'd have known this, I'd have never tatted your leg. You trash like the rest. And that sucked. That sucked because he was my first true love. He was my first true love ever. on that end, and that sucked. But so for some of you ladies, and I guess I want to share this story because for some of you, the struggle could be just as real as mine. And no matter what you gotta do, you're gonna do it. Especially if you really want it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to finish it because I messed up. But I did seek help, and that's gonna be again another story time. Just don't think life is gonna put you through stuff without teaching you something. Without teaching you something. Because while some people looked at me as trash back then and didn't have a clue that I was doing that to make my money to go to college, I was not trash. I was not and you know what? Some of them girls I worked with, they weren't trash either. They weren't trash either. Some of them really loved the money. Some of them had no choice because of where they came from. That was the only way to make money. Some of us trash people have a story to go with it. So maybe you shouldn't be so quick to judge. Because now that people see me on the internet, they probably couldn't have imagined or wouldn't have imagined. But I'm a lot of y'all. So if my story helps and makes you feel better because you have to do what you have to do to make yourself better, don't ever let the world or anybody else tell you any different. Just don't get caught up. That would be my best advice is don't get caught up. Stay focused. Stay focused because I got caught up and it didn't get any better. And I'll be sharing that with y'all soon. I'll see y'all soon.